I hope everybody is doing well. I want to take a look at franc New Zealand dollar, so franc Kiwi, and then also I want to take a look at yen Aussie dollar. And here's the reason I want to take a look at those. We've been playing a lot of things like oil, gold, silver, markets, US Treasury bonds. The problem with playing those is that there's an inverse correlation between equities and Treasury bonds. And when it comes to oil, there tends to traditionally at least be a positive correlation between that and equities markets. And then when it comes to gold and silver, normally they don't have much of a correlation, but now they're starting to actually have a correlation. This has been continuing for quite a while. Traditionally, over the decades, there was normally no correlation. Right now, though, it seems as though there is a positive correlation with the market, and so we're seeing some things right there. And also, there tends to be an oil-gold ratio, and those two tend to actually be related because of the oil-gold ratio. So just from that perspective, all of these things are so correlated that we're talking about on this channel, that I want to start talking about some uncorrelated ways so we can start getting rid of some of the correlations, start beta weighting this portfolio that we're building here at Alpha Action, and start beta weighting our portfolios so that we're not so correlated into these assets where we're all in one direction or all in the other. And if we're wrong, we at least have some diversification right there. So beta weighting, you're trying to get the beta as close to 0 as possible. So here's the first one I want to look at right here. The Swiss franc, New Zealand dollar. So right here, franc Kiwi basically is the pair, and we saw this run up into basically the apex when the market bottomed out, but we've just seen some consolidation since there. I think we could see some volatility expansion now, and also see another upside move. And this seems like a uncorrelated way to bet on that, because this is uncorrelated to oil. Because usually we would play, we'd play oil or oil futures or something related to contango inside the oil curve. We'd be playing maybe ruble or Canadian dollar. But if we played this way, this is more uncorrelated to the oil space, because the New Zealand dollar really, I think most people know that Swiss franc is considered a safe haven currency. So, of course, that would be going bullish. But it's not completely correlated to gold. I think when gold was selling off, the Swiss franc was actually pretty strong. And so even though it's a safe haven, it's a different safe haven than gold or the bonds. And the New Zealand dollar is a cyclical currency, but it's a different cyclicality than the oil or the markets are. The New Zealand dollar is highly tied to trade with China. It's tied to China because they're a big trading partner with China, and so it's really a way to play on China. And it's also, before this, it was a way for people to play on the trade war. So I'm just looking here at CHF and ZD, looking for an upside move right here. Just that we can play this again, but play it in an uncorrelated manner where the CHF is not exactly one-to-one correlated with gold or the bonds. It's a safe haven, but it's not completely correlated. It's an uncorrelated safe haven. Same way with the New Zealand dollar, it's an uncorrelated cyclical asset. And then another one that we were looking at was JPY AUD. So yen Aussie. So on yen Aussie, we wanted another upside move right here. Again, this is uncorrelated. Of course, yen is a safe haven asset, but unlike the other assets, it's not completely correlated. And so this is the whole point of doing these trades right here. And the reason that we're in the Forex market is because before we were looking at equities, we were looking at fixed income, some commodities, but now we want some diversification. We want to beta weight this thing down to 0 as much as possible. So we're able to have some uncorrelated bets on the table, and that's what we're doing right here with yen Aussie dollar. So with yen Aussie, I think we're looking for another upside move right here, but this is a far safer way to play it because we don't want to be all in the ruble or Canadian dollar, or betting on gold or bonds or equities or oil, because they're all correlated. These are uncorrelated ways to do it. So take a look at those two pairs right there. Yen Aussie, and then Franc Kiwi. Take a look at those two right there, and I think we can see upside moves in those two, and they're uncorrelated safe havens and uncorrelated cyclical areas. Same thing with AUD and NZD, is that they're related again to China, related to trade with China. They really got crushed in trade war and such, and so they are a cyclical asset, but they're different than the American equities markets or oil. They're very specific just with China, and so this is more of a pure play on China. If you do have access to it, there is sometimes you're able to do a CHN. It doesn't work here on TradingView because TradingView doesn't have access to it. Only certain brokers give you access to CHN. And let's actually see if they have access to it over here. I don't think they do. So most brokers are not going to give access to CHN. And you can just do a quick Google search. CHN. I think I might have actually done that wrong. CNH USD. Okay, so we're able to trade this one against the dollar, but this is offshore yuan right here. You can look for a play on this. So this right here is People's Republic of China. This would be the most direct play on the yuan right here is the CNH. The most direct play would be CNY, but I don't think people are going to be able to trade the CNY because the CNY. Okay, so Chinese yuan, US dollar. It's a thing on here, but I just don't know any brokers that let you trade this. And basically, this is the onshore yuan. This is the most direct way to play it. There's a less indirect way, which is CNH. And CNH is the offshore yuan. I think more brokers are going to allow this. But if you can't play China that way more directly, you can obviously use the Aussie dollar, you can use the Kiwi, because those they're big trading partners with China. They tend to be very correlated. But if you can trade Chinese currency directly against the yen and the franc if you're able to do that. I don't know any broker that allows onshore yuan, but I think there are a couple brokers out there that allow offshore yuan, and you can try to play it that way too. So, looking at CHF, NZD, JPY, AUD, and then also if you don't want to use AUD or NZD, you can use CNH against it. And I don't think any brokers that I know of, really no American brokers at least, no European brokers that I can think of right off the top of my head, off of like the largest 50 brokers, I don't know a single broker that lets you trade onshore yuan, and a couple of them will let you trade offshore yuan, but it's not that liquid. So I think the best way to go about it is just with the Australian currency, New Zealand currency, and shorting those, and then going along the Swiss currency and the Japanese currency. And so those are just continuation plays that we have, just betting that coronavirus is going to get worse. But it's more of an uncorrelated way to do it. Oil and stock markets, all those are very correlated. We like to get some counter correlation in here. And so these are completely uncorrelated ways to do it. And that's why I like going to the Forex market and trying to find plays that are different than what we're doing in the equities market. So other than that, if you guys have any questions, just go ahead and ask me in the comment section. And thank you for watching. Happy trading.